Let's be frank. An inanimate object cannot have a soul in a legal or strictly scientific sense. We know that, and many dismiss the concept of soul entirely. Soul, when applied to an inanimate object, implies a connection with its user in such a way that they feel a kinship with that object. It sounds daft. It's easily belittled. I can hear you now. Does your toaster have a soul? Let's be clear. I come from a scientific background. I believe in evolution. I don't believe in the Sasquatch, the Loch Ness Monster, Ogopogo, popular conspiracy theories, and I do believe the Americans actually landed on the moon. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I believe. I'm not religious in the least, and I put as much stock in the Earth being created in 7 days as I do in the current scientifically backed Big Bang Theory, which states everything in the known universe came from a baseball-sized piece of matter and is still growing, and eventually will contract back to that fist-sized black hole and do it all over again, as it has for eons. But I don't have a credible alternative explanation, and so refuse to criticize those that believe in either a supreme being or the Big Bang. My mind is open on that one. I just don't have the answer. So, when I argue that a motorcycle can have a soul, it's from a scientific angle. But let's be clear, I'm not saying it's alive in the scientific sense. That's obviously not true. It can't grow or reproduce, and scientifically speaking, having a soul is not one of the criteria that is applied to determine whether something is living or not. Because scientists don't like the word soul. It's not empirical. It can't be defined. So no scientist can tell me what a soul looks, sounds, feels, or smells like. You've looked into someone's eyes and seen that indefinable sparkle of energy, that life force which tells you they share a bond with you. And this has nothing to do with sex. This is kinship. I will argue that soul, when it can be applied to a motorcycle, is not merely pragmatic appreciation for what it can do for you, what it looks like, how it performs, but it's a tangible connection you feel to the bike when it started up and a slight loss when it switched off. But that it is present even when the bike is on its side stand alone with you in the garage. Ask yourself this: have you ever spoken to your bike, patted it, or thanked it after a ride, or commiserate with it when the weather is too dire to go out? Or has it spoken to you during a ride? I've had, in equal measure, motorcycles that I have felt a connection with, almost as if it is a well-loved pet or family member, and others that have been that enabler, a smiler, a door opener, which you really appreciate but quickly forget after walking through that door and moving on. Of my 4 bikes, I have one motorcycle that I appreciate. You might even say I feel affection for what it brings to me. It allows me to travel with my partner safely, in comfort. It transports me to new places and gives me new experiences. It's an enabler. It's a pragmatic machine, which I feel affection for because it's reliable. It empowers me to have the opportunities that I enjoy. But for me, I have never felt that tangible connection that I feel for my 3 other, in some ways less capable motorcycles. This isn't a criticism. It's a damn fine bike, well used and undiscovered by many out there because of its perceived nature. The everyman's bike, reliable, efficient, and capable. Some might simply say it doesn't have a soul because it doesn't have character, but that would be bang on wrong. It's a V-twin, and that is definitely a character that comes through when the bike is ridden. There's no mistaking it. What the bike lacks for me is that connection. I don't feel connected to it in the same way I do to my other 3 motorcycles. I appreciate it, I value it, I enjoy it, but I could sell it tomorrow for a different make and model that would do the same thing, if it did it as well. I have an association with it. I ride it. It bends to my will, but it doesn't shape me. The V-Strom always feels the same whenever I ride it. It's a one-dimensional relationship. I don't feel any different after the ride than I did when I started it. It sparkles, it delights, but it doesn't speak to me. I've created memories on that bike, yet I don't feel it has a soul. Don't get me wrong, I've tried to feel a connection to it. It's more than an appliance, but it's just not a buddy. When I swing a leg over my Moto Guzzi Grezzo, or my Kawasaki Z900RS, or my Husaberg, the bikes all feel individual and unique. Yes, they all have character in varying degrees, like the V-Strom does. But to attribute that quality they impart to me just as character is to miss my point. Character is not only what gives them soul. They share very little in common, yet they all impart a spiritual quality to me. I feel a connection and kinship to them, and more to the point, I feel something back. They change me as I ride them. They impart an energy. They shape the way I ride them and who I am when I ride them. They push back, communicate their wants and tolerate my imperfections, always bringing the best out in me as a rider. And that quality is what I call soul. The vibrations, the engine note, the handling, the feedback, the performance, and the looks, they all help. But they are the visceral conduits of the soul, not the essence of the soul. I don't look for shortcomings in these bikes when I ride them, although they undoubtedly have them in spades. I don't look past them to sell them for faster or better motorcycles. There are lots out there. These bikes are soulmates. I know it can't be true, but I feel they'll keep me safe. No matter what, I feel it. When the ride is finished, I feel happier, accomplished, better, and as if I've been in the company of a close confidant, a friend who polishes my luster. And even if I'm tired, I don't want the ride to end, and I feel a loss when I turn the bike off. And in answer to my previous question, yes, I'll rub the tank, pat the saddle, feel the warmth in the engine cases, and thank the bike for the pleasure of the ride. It's not a superstition, it's a conversation. I'm not sure what that means, and frankly, I don't care. How about your bike? Does it have soul or some other spiritual quality you attribute to it? Is it just a pragmatic tool to impart to you the pleasure of a ride, or do you feel a kinship with it, privately sharing a word or a gesture with it when the time is right? A psychologist might say I'm anthropomorphizing, attributing human behaviors or feelings to objects who cannot feel the same emotions as we do. But then again, they haven't ridden my bikes, or yours. Thanks for watching, Blue Marble Riders. Don't forget to click a like, it really helps the video, and to drop a comment below. What do you think? Can a bike have a soul? Do you occasionally pat the side covers, the tank, the saddle, have a quick chat and thank it for the ride? Or is it just an appliance that gives you great feedback? Leave a comment below, let us know. Cheers, and I'll see you in the next one.